Good afternoon and welcome to Love from the Hip. I'm spiritual hypnotherapist, master esthetician, and your host, Sakura Sutter. This show is created with the intention of helping others to help and love themselves. Aside from weekly skin tips, you will hear me spotlight extraordinary souls from around the world who are making a difference by helping others in their own way. You may also hear me follow up with a guest I've hypnotized on an online edition of Love from the Hip, which is available on YouTube. Together we can all make a difference, and it starts with love. Love from the hip. Cold therapy has been around for a very long time. The Egyptians were the first to use cold therapy back in 2500 BC to help treat inflammation. Later, Hippocrates documented the benefits of cold exposure as well. In 1851, Arnott launched a cold therapy apparatus at the Great Exhibition in London with the intent to apply it to neuralgia and acne. In 1899, Campbell White introduced the first cryotherapy device using liquid gas. In 1907, William Poussey used CO2 to treat a number of defects. And in 1978, Dr. Yamauchi coined whole-body cryotherapy, freezed his patient's skin for the pain management of rheumatoid arthritis, and developed cryotherapy chambers. In the 1980s, his approach was adopted by Nordic and Eastern European countries and used for Olympic athletes to decrease their recovery time and increase their athletic performance. And then came Wim Hof, a great scientific anomaly. Born in 1959 in the Netherlands, Wim Hof is one of 9 children, one of whom is a twin. At the age of 17, his attraction to cold water made him impulsively jump into the freezing cold Beatrix Park Canal. In 1995, his wife, who suffered from schizophrenia, after saying goodbye to their 4 children, jumped off an 8-story building and landed to her death. Following her suicide, Hof had a vision in which he saw how his breathing technique could help people like his wife. He believed his method could give these people back their control. Her suicide became his motivation for defying laws of nature and science. He has set 26 Guinness World Records for feats like swimming under ice, prolonged full-body contact with ice, and a barefoot half marathon on ice and snow. In 2009, he reached the top of Mount Kilimanjaro in just shorts and shoes. He also ran a full marathon in the desert with no training and no water. Hof set out to popularize and spread his theory, but had little success. Until one day, TV news crews came to film him jumping into holes cut into a frozen lake, but caught him rescuing a man who accidentally fell through the ice and was near death. It was then when he became known throughout Holland as the Iceman. In 2011, Hof visited the Radboud University Medical Center in the Netherlands after learning that they had a way of measuring the immune response in humans. Hof told them he could modulate his immune system. Professor Peter Pickers thought it impossible. He enlisted his PhD student Cox to test Hof's claim. They took blood samples before and after Hof's method and were shocked by the results. Hof was indeed able to control his autonomic nervous system. Pickers and Fox concluded that in the hypothalamus, the stress messages from the brain triggered adrenaline, which not only increases pumping blood and releases glucose, both great for helping the body deal with an emergency, but it also suppresses the immune system. In 2014, Wayne State University School of Medicine in Detroit conducted a study on Hof called Brain Over Body, a study on the willful regulation of the autonomic function during cold exposure. Professors Music and Diwadkar subjected Hof to intermittent bouts of mild hypothermia using a specifically designed whole body suit that has the capacity to measure skin temperature to within 0.1 degrees Celsius. They then used a PET and CAT scan imaging and fMRI scans to measure both the periphery and whatever is happening in the central nervous system. The results showed many miraculous results. For one, when Hof did his breathing technique, the higher cortical brain areas were significantly active, which essentially involves a here and now focus state. Secondly, although music thought that the Iceman would show significant brain activations in a region of the brain known as the anterior insula, where the brain's higher thermoregulatory centers are located, he did not. Instead, Hof appeared to activate regions of the brain called the periaquidal gray matter, which is the primary control for pain suppression. So, with this newfound knowledge, researchers postulated that by generating a stress-induced palliative response in the periaquedural gray matter, HOF may be promoting the spontaneous release of opiates and cannabinoids in the brain. This effect can reduce anxiety and create the feeling of well-being. Lastly, the measurements showed that HOF's method of breathing increased glucose consumption, in turn generating heat that warms circulating blood. This explains why his core body temperature does not drop and how he resists frostbite. Their findings speculate that the Wim Hof method can lead to restorative changes in an autonomous brain mechanisms, subsequently having the potential to change and manage medical issues ranging from immune diseases to psychiatric disorders. Still, even after these findings, upon his visit to the U.S. in 2015, Hof was disappointed to learn that despite the shocking results that his students and him could control their immune systems, this was not enough to append Western medicine. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Michael Roviello. Michael is a former Navy helicopter rescue swimmer and a Wim Hof method instructor and founder of Optimyze. He will share his journey as well as the benefits of cold water therapy. Plus, later on the show, we will open up the phone lines so that if you are struggling with an issue, whether physical or mental, and want to ask Michael how cold water therapy may assist you, you can call in. So stick around after this quick break.
Microneedling is a revolutionary treatment that can help reduce the appearance of acne scars, fine lines, pigmentation, wrinkles, even improve the appearance of stretch marks by stimulating collagen and elastin. Sakura Skin and Mind specializes in this procedure that jumpstarts your body's natural healing process. Sakura Skin and Mind believes in not only keeping the skin up to date with the latest trends in the skincare industry, but also keeping the skin beautiful, fast, pretty, painless, and affordable. Find out more at sakuraskinandmind.com. SAKURA skinandmind.com.
Bringing good vibes to the Puget Sound and the world. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Love from the Hip. I'm spiritual hypnotherapist, master esthetician, and your host, Sakura Sutter. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook and to subscribe and share my YouTube channel and podcast, Love from the Hip, and that's HYP, anywhere you can find podcasts. Today, I have the pleasure of having Michael Roviello on my show. Michael is a former Navy helicopter rescue swimmer, a Wim Hof instructor, and owner of Optimyze. Hey, Michael, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and where are you joining us from?
Sunny Phoenix, Arizona, although it is raining today, which is very rare, but beautiful.
So you have our weather, and it's sunny here, so.
Traded for the day.
Yeah. So how long were you in the Navy for, Michael?
I joined the U.S. Navy in 1999 and separated in 2004. So that was a full 5 years, and that was about 20 years ago now.
Okay. And what was your job?
I was a rescue swimmer and also aviation warfare systems operator. I operated in the Sikorsky H-60 helicopter, which primary mission of the helicopter was anti-submarine warfare, helicopter search and rescue, and also combat search and rescue, which was essentially the role of assisting with the rescue of downed aviators in enemy territory.
Oh, wow.
So we would hunt submarines, we would do search and rescue, we would transfer people from ship to ship, we would move logistics from ship to ship. That's how like the big ships kind of bring on supplies to our aircraft carriers. So we were like the jack of all trades, master of none, but we did a wide variety of different roles.
It's a high adrenaline job.
High adrenaline job all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you were rescuing not only soldiers, but also civilians, correct?
Yeah, pretty much anyone out at sea, because there's no one else out there but the U.S. Navy. So if there's a ship in distress or anything like that, and they send out a beacon for assistance, the Navy is going to assist.
Okay.
And we also provide search and rescue for our own aviation, because I was on an aircraft carrier. So we're a floating airport. We're launching and recovering planes all day long. And it's very difficult to land on a ship in the middle of the night, especially when the waters are rough. So things happen, and Pilots at times have to eject.
Wow. Did you have to eject at all?
In helicopters, we don't eject because helicopters, if there's a problem with helicopters, they just kind of fall out of the sky. Where the fighter planes had the ability to eject, and then there would be a parachute, and then they can safely kind of float back down to the ocean where we would retrieve them. And yes, we did have an incident back in 2003 where one of our F-18 Hornet pilots off the coast of Guam, maybe about 40 miles, ejected, and they lost the aircraft, and we were able to safely recover the pilot from the ocean.
Oh, wow.
So that was, my first rescue.
Oh, that's great. So you definitely saw a lot of trauma.
Yeah, I mean, if we were being called to the scene, it was someone else's bad day. That's for sure. We're like vultures. We're kind of waiting around, waiting for bad things to happen. And essentially, we were the rescue vehicle. So we were the first people to take off during flight operations, and also the last aircraft to land when flight operations was finished.
Okay. So what started happening to you physically I'm not sure if it was while you were in the Navy or directly after leaving the Navy.
Yes, I started to experience physical pain in my training. I actually started as early as training in the U.S. Navy.
Okay.
I remember being in aviation warfare school down in Pensacola, Florida, and just having severe pain in my neck that I didn't quite understand. And I was kind of down from participating in physical activity for a couple of months. And then the symptoms would kind of fade, and I would be back to my, kind of normal health. And it just kind of came in waves the entire time throughout my military career. And, back at that time, I mean, there really wasn't much you can do. I mean, you just kind of treated it with medication, typically ibuprofen and any sort of anti-inflammatory type of pill. And you just went on with the mission.
And I'm assuming that the adrenaline kind of took away the pain too for moments for you.
Well, we were just such a competitive group that, we wanted to fly and we wanted to be involved in the riskiest missions. So to kind of be complaining about aches and pains was just culturally not acceptable. So, a lot of times you just kept those things, uncovered, and you kind of muscled through the mission. And, we were young. I was in my early 20s at the time. And I just kind of had waves of discomfort that I didn't quite know or understand what they were. At that time, I mean, I understand, my understanding of the body was just fully mechanical.
Okay. Well, I want to get into that again, but we're going to have to take a quick break. But remember, this is a live show, and if you would like to ask Michael how cold water therapy may assist you, you can call 1-888-298-KKNW or 425-373-5527 after this quick break.
Hypnotherapy helps you discover and explore deep, sustainable life changes. Let Sakura guide your communication with your unconscious mind. Rid yourself of negative behaviors, fears, pains, and emotions. Weight loss, smoking, childhood trauma, chronic pain, and much more can be addressed. Begin healing now. Just $100 for the first session. Learn more, SakuraSkinandMind.com. SAKURA skinandmind.com. Bring out the healthy way of thinking you didn't know you had.
Did you know that your skin is your body's first defense against disease and infection? Briotech knows and has developed their topical skin spray to enhance your skin's natural healing responses and defenses. Briotech is all about providing its customers products that help promote skin wellness. Briotech Topical Skin Spray is a light misting spray free of added fragrance, oil, alcohol, and parabens. All this protection without clogging your pores. It's a must addition to your all-around daily skincare regimen. Try Briotech, a collection of sprayers from 2 ounces to 8 ounces. With this bundle, you can have Briotech Topical Skin Spray wherever life takes you. All natural and safe to use from head to toe. Irritations? Redness? Post-procedure sensitivities? Get Briotech Topical Skin Spray today. Learn more at briotechusa.com. That's BRIOTECH USA.com. Support your skin at briotechusa.com.
Men, care for your skin properly, starting with your face. Sakura Skin and Mind offers their Gentleman's Groom Clinical Facial for just $120. Designed for your rugged skin, a deep cleansing clinical facial is like a 1-2-3 punch to wrinkles, age spots, and problem skin. Tame those brows, ears, and nostrils. Sakura Skin and Mind, erasing wrinkles one clinical facial at a time. Learn more at sakuraskinandmind.com. SAKURA skinandmind.com.
Is your tween starting to experience a change in their skin? Want to get them on an easy at-home routine and have good skin hygiene? Allow Sakura Skin and Mind to help your tween out. This brief, deep cleansing and educational 35-minute facial is just enough to get your tween, ages 10 to 12 years old, started off in the right direction. Sakura Skin and Mind uses the latest in the clinical skincare industry to care for your tween the right way for just $65. Sakura Skin and Mind, treating skin out there with an ounce of treatment and a pound of protection. Call 206-730-7429 or go to sakuraskinandmind.com.
You found us. Maybe you've been guided to listen. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Love from the Hip. I'm spiritual hypnotherapist, master esthetician, and your host, Sakura Sutter. Don't forget to tune in right here on KKNW every Wednesday at 2 to 3 p.m. for more Love from the Hip. Today on Love from the Hip, we have Michael Roviello. Michael is a former Navy helicopter rescue swimmer, a Wim Hof instructor, and owner of Optimyze. And if you would like to ask Michael how cold water therapy may assist you, feel free to call 1-888-298-KKNW or 425-373-5527. So, Michael, you were telling us about the pain that you were experiencing in the Navy. So were you eventually diagnosed?
Yes, actually happened a few years after I separated. Same thing. I was just kind of having these waves of discomfort. At that time, I had already made it to the corporate world. So I was working in an office environment and just a lot of ups and downs with physical pain and going through a wide variety of just different practices to solve it, from pain management clinics to pain medication to anti-inflammatory, muscle relaxers, steroid injections at the pain management clinics, chiropractic care. I mean, I was doing everything just to try to solve it. But once again, I was solving everything from a physical, biological perspective. I was looking at my body as it was like a piece of machinery, and that there was something broken, it needed to be fixed and rebuilt or repaired. And that was the mindset that I had at that time.
And because of that, did you end up going under surgery?
Yes, I did. I took the advice of one of the surgeons and got something called an anterior cervical, which is where they make an incision on your throat, they move your esophagus, they remove discs, and they fuse your spine together with titanium plate, and they allow a bone graft to fuse with a cadaver part to fuse with your own bone. So it's a big process, and it was a difficult surgery, and it worked temporarily, but then like about a year later, I had the same exact issues, same symptoms, same pain, same discomfort.
And what was the disorder that they diagnosed you with?
Well, it wasn't a specific disorder. It was just, it was the discs were bulged and pressing against the spinal cord. There was interruptions between my brain and the rest of my body. So I had a lot of neurological symptoms. Clonus is one of the symptoms, or diagnosis is clonus, where your body kind of shakes out of control. And then neuropathy and a lot of numbness and weakness in my extremities. So my hands became so weak that I wasn't even able to open up a can of tuna fish or open up a bottle or anything like that. And I was also starting to lose my balance as well. So initially they thought I had multiple sclerosis. And that was the original testing that they did.
Okay. And so after that intense surgery, a year later, all your symptoms came back.
Yes, they all came back, from the pain to the numbness to the shaking and the clonus, wide variety of different symptoms I was experiencing. And my recommendation from my surgeon, who obviously that's who I was following up with, recommended I go back under the knife and get another area of my neck fused, both above and below where they had already fused. So that was going to require another surgery, another rehabilitation, and a whole nother process to include pain medication and more pills and all of that.
Wow. So you decided not to do that.
Yes, for some strange reason, I just decided not to do it. Something inside of me said there has to be a different way. And I was already experiencing the difficulty on my organs, specifically my kidneys, from all the medication that I was taking. And I was already dabbling with researching things that were so non-invasive, like even the medication. I was looking for all natural anti-inflammatory, and I had found this one company. So my mind was starting to wander in that way. So I just asked for some time and space so that I can research other modalities before I decided to get this second surgery. And my surgeon thought I was crazy for doing that, but obviously it was my decision overall. And that's when I went down the rabbit hole of exploration.
Awesome. So then you got out of focusing on your body purely physically, right?
Yes.
And so what was the catalyst for that?
I read a book. I read a book. Imagine that. And the book was by Dr. Sarno, and it was called The Mind-Body Prescription. And his entire book was based on back pain, healing back pain, and psychosomatic pain, and that how pain manifests itself in the body through trauma, unresolved trauma, and psychiatric. It was, that these problems essentially were in the mind, and they were unresolved, and the body had this interesting mechanism of creating pain as a safety net for your entire system, which sounds very odd, that your body's actually using these pain signals to save itself from maybe an emotional meltdown of some kind. So he was a surgeon, and he had experienced a wide variety of different patients who are experiencing back pain, and he just didn't understand why humans were getting so weak when we've been around for thousands and thousands of years. I mean, doing pretty wild feats, and why at this point in our evolution, our backs were breaking down. I mean, it was just so common. So he started to study the link between the mind and the body. And that opened up my eyes that there were other things that I was not paying attention to that were eventually going to be the catalyst in resolving these issues.
Yeah. And so then from Dr. Sarno, is that how you fell into plant medicine?
Yeah. So before plant medicine, I really just opened up my eyes to a lot of different things, mind, body. And then I started looking into meditation and float tanks, and I became a student of Edgar Cayce's work, and I just became very fascinated with him. I read his book. I started taking classes and listening to a lot of, or reading his readings. He had about 12,000 readings at the Association of Research and Enlightenment in Virginia Beach, and I became fascinated with his story. And he was the father of holistic medicine, had a very interesting, unique approach. So I really just started opening up my eyes to spirituality in general. I realized that I had worked many years on my physical body. I had worked on my mind in the sense that I had gone to school. I received 2 master's degrees, my undergraduate degree. I was, interested in information and knowledge. But spiritually, I was kind of empty, and I wasn't doing any sort of spiritual work. Mainly because I associated spirituality with religion, and I wasn't interested in in religion
Okay.
at that stage of my life. So that's what eventually started first before I got into plant medicine.
Okay. So what do you think was the spiritual or emotional reason for the neurological symptoms you were experiencing?
I think a lot of times that these are just wake up calls. I think, life has a way to kind of nudge you in a direction or to try to guide you onto the right path.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're not paying attention, you're not paying, attention to any of these signals, you'll experience discomfort. So I looked at this as an awakening.
Mm-hmm.
It was an awakening in a direction that I needed to do more inner work. I was doing no inner work. All of the work I was doing at that time was external.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about my outer world, how I looked to other people. I was very much focused on materialism, especially working in a corporate environment where I was getting paid very well for many years.
Right.
I was seeking happiness externally.
Yeah.
So I think this is life's way of nudging me and waking me up and getting me to take a deeper look of knowing myself.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Well, when we come back, I want to touch on how you found the Wim Hof method or how you got involved in that. But we're going to take another quick break. But remember, this is a live show, and you can call in and ask Michael how cold water therapy can possibly help you. 1-888-298-KKNW or 425-373-5527. And stay tuned for the Weekly Skinny. On this Weekly Skinny, I would like to talk about cryotherapy and your skin. You may have heard of one of the latest facials out there called the cryofacial or Frotox. Unlike other facials, this one is only minutes long. You will experience blasts of cold vapor and light therapy dispersed all over your face. The feeling can be compared to sticking your face in a freezer for a few minutes. Cryotherapy facials claim to be good for stimulating collagen, minimizing the appearance of pores, and detoxifying the skin. Cryofacials are also said to restore firmness and cause the skin to feel tighter immediately after the treatment. It is also said to help with eczema, psoriasis, and dermatitis due to its anti-inflammatory properties. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, whole-body cryotherapy, however, can injure the skin. Reported injuries due to whole-body cryotherapy include frostbite, a frozen limb, and rashes. Researchers in Finland reported that 16% of the participants in a whole-body cryotherapy research study developed mild frostbite, and frostbite can lead to permanent tissue damage. Frozen limb is when people experience a frozen limb, like an arm or a leg, and then once it thaws, it blisters and third-degree burns form. This type is a severe frostbite. And lastly, a rash or cold paniculitis occurs when cold enters the deepest layers of skin or the fatty tissue. Cold paniculitis can show up as tiny hard bumps, raised and scaly patches, and deep lumps in the skin. Of course, the rash will fade, but the patches of darker or lighter skin can take months to go away. Whole-body cryotherapy is not to be confused with cryotherapy used by a board-certified dermatologist, which is used to remove a wart, precancerous growth, or other skin conditions. This is a spot treatment using low temperatures to freeze and kill the diseased area of the skin. Usually after one or more treatments, these lesions will fall off. This is also not to be confused with cold water therapy, which does not have these same adverse effects on the skin. Plus, cold water therapy is usually accompanied by mind therapy as well, so that you are treating the skin as well as the mind. Just make sure to do your research before you try whole body cryotherapy, as well as make sure wherever you decide to get a cryofacial, they are using the latest and greatest technology and have the science to back up the benefits they are claiming to provide. Did you know that your skin is your body's first defense against disease and infection? Briotech knows and has developed their topical skin spray to enhance your skin's natural healing responses and defenses. Briotech is all about providing its customers products that help promote skin wellness. Briotech Topical Skin Spray is a light misting spray free of added fragrance, oil, alcohol, and parabens. All this protection without clogging your pores. It's a must addition to your all-around daily skincare regimen. Try Briotech, a collection of sprayers from 2 ounces to 8 ounces. With this bundle, you can have Briotech Topical Skin Spray wherever life takes you. all natural and safe to use from head to toe. Irritations? Redness? Post-procedure sensitivities? Get Briotech Topical Skin Spray today. Learn more at briotechusa.com. That's BRIOTECHUSA.com. Support your skin at briotechusa.com.
Talk radio for the heart and soul. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Love from the Hip. I'm spiritual hypnotherapist, master esthetician, and your host, Sakura Sutter. And feel free to email me at sakura@lovefromthehip.com with your comments, your criticisms, your questions, and well wishes. Let me know how I am doing. If you're just joining us today, we have Michael Roviello. Michael is a former Navy helicopter rescue swimmer, a Wim Hof instructor, and owner of Optimyze. And if you would like to ask Michael how cold water therapy can assist you, call in 1-888-298-KKNW or 425-373-5527. So, Michael, I was wondering if you could tell us how you then discovered the Wim Hof method.
I discovered Wim Hof method through YouTube because there was a documentary created by Vice who followed Wim Hof and his journey in Poland at his one of his centers, and it was all about becoming superhuman. And I was fascinated with the documentary, but I was more fascinated by the type of language that he was using that really intrigued me up to that point.
Okay, awesome. Well, hey, Michael, we have a caller on the line. Let's go ahead and take Alexa from Seattle. Alexa, are you there?
I am.
Hi there. What's your question for Michael?
Yeah, well, I have been really interested in this method of Wim Hof, just kind of in the back of my mind. So I'm super glad that you are doing this interview today. And my question is this. I am wondering how one goes about doing any kind of cold therapy in particular, in my case, I'm trying to sort of recalibrate my immune system from getting over some bronchitis. And I'm also trying to reduce some inflammation. I got some kind of, I have an injury in my arm and it damaged some nerves. And I have found that cold therapy, like just taking a walk on a cool day, has been so restorative. But I'm also, the main question I have is how do you know if one is, it's appropriate to do the cold therapy? Because, of course, if your immune system is not really strong, it could, you could get sick from that, from being exposed to cold when you're not feeling well. You may not have a fever, but where is that fine line of knowing if you actually are ready to do cold therapy, or is there any kind of preparation?
It's a great question. Thanks for calling in. So the great news is that up in Seattle, there are Wim Hof method instructors. So if you go to Wim's website, www.wimhofmethod.com, you can actually search for instructors in your area and find when they're hosting these entry-level Wim Hof method fundamental courses. And you can sign up and do about a 4 to 5 hour workshop learning the science theory and the practical application. They will also take you through the method, so you will learn the breathing exercise properly, and you'll also get exposed to the cold water in that workshop, learning all of the mental tools needed to basically be in cold water and find that peace, in the face of kind of an uncomfortable situation. If you're very sick, of course, and you're actively fighting something, getting into cold water is not necessarily the best idea because cold water is stress. And if your body's already under that stress, the cold water will create more stress. So it's not recommended. But if you're in okay health, right, you feel good, you're up and about, you're going to work, you're doing things, you might even be going to the gym to exercise or something of that nature, then it's okay to use cold water as a recommended therapy. And the cold water acts as an amazing anti-inflammatory, a natural anti-inflammatory. And it's not necessarily the cold water that's doing the anti-inflammatory work. It's the reaction of the body to the cold water that's creating the noradrenaline that's suppressing the immune system and working as that anti-inflammatory. So it's about getting your body in the right conditions. And when we get our body in the right conditions, we can create a wide variety of, pharmaceuticals, and also the right conditions for healing. So I would start with seeking a Wim Hof method workshop in your area, attending one of those workshops, and learning the right way to do it, and then going through the process and then implementing that on your own, so that, the one-time Wim Hof method is not going to solve anything. It might give you some temporary relief. It might create a breakthrough for you. It's really the commitment of using this very simple tool in your daily practice or weekly practice, specifically the breathing exercises, to guide you in your journey of health and wellness.
All right.
And are there any sort of guidelines around someone's body weight for doing it? Mine's kind of particular because I'm just not a very big person. So that's another little part of my problem, is that it's just like I can't really do it I can't really, take a walk in the cold for a very long period of time because I just don't have a whole lot of body fat on me. Even though I'm my right height and weight, I just am not a very big person.
Sure, I understand. Body weight is, it's not the only indicator of, how people warm up. Essentially, we have two ways of warming up. They call it thermogenesis, and it's through brown fat activation and shivering. Shivering is, we've all shivered at some point before, and that's like kinetic energy, and that shivering creates heat, and it allows our body to warm back up to balance, otherwise known as homeostasis. The other thing is something called brown fat. Babies are born with a lot of brown fat, and you don't necessarily have to be a heavy person to have a lot of brown fat. Actually, in most cases, if you're really heavy, you have a lot of visceral fat, but not a lot of brown fat. Babies are born with lots of brown fat, and brown fat is full of mitochondria, and it's a more effective and efficient way of warming your body up. The more exposure to cold they found, the more brown fat that you will build. And that brown fat actually uses visceral fat as fuel. So a lot of the discomfort of cold is mental, and it's not necessarily about how much meat you have on your bones. So I have a lot of people that I put into cold water that, were, 115 pounds, 110 pounds. They were light. And they do just fine in cold water, and it's not.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
More of a mental. It's a mental thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling in, Alexa.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for answering. This is really helpful. I'll look into it over here in the local area.
Absolutely. Thanks, Alexa.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was a lot of useful information. Thank you, Michael. So, can you tell us about Optimyze?
Absolutely. Yeah. We were getting a really good positive result from people who attended workshops and were really inspired by cold water. And they kind of ran into the same issues, like, hey, I want to do more of this. I feel good. I feel so good. This is a great daily practice, weekly practice. When's your next workshop? And I just couldn't have enough workshops just to accommodate everybody. So instead of doing workshops at other people's facilities, we said, well, why don't we create a facility that gives people access to cold water, warm water, infrared saunas, red light therapy, IV, and a classroom where we can do a variety of classes for mind and body. And the whole point of creating this was really giving people that incentive and strength to take a more proactive approach towards their own health, so that they have influence over their mental, physical, and emotional well-being. Don't wait until you get sick and then go to the doctor and try to solve it, or want the doctor to solve it for you. Take a proactive approach and learn how to use stress, such as heat and cold, which are both hormetic stressors, as a powerful medicine for your body. And the one other thing that we obviously have the opportunity to do there is teach the Wim Hof method, which we do that on a monthly basis, and we advertise that on Wim's website, and then people can find us and attend the center, take the fundamentals workshop, learn about the science, the theory, and the application, and then they have a choice to come to the center for, follow-up cold water training, or we do small group sessions. We also do things out in nature as well.
Okay.
It's all about giving people access.
And so how does your cold water therapy work? Like how long are your clients in the cold water for?
You can get into cold water for as little as 30 seconds. I mean, it's a gradual approach. We always recommend people start off with cold showers, which everyone has access to at home, learning how to breathe and find peace in the face of the discomfort of that cold shower. It's also an amazing benefit of starting your day off with something uncomfortable. We live in a society that is filled with comfort. There's too much comfort, temperature comfort. It's too hot. It's too cold. This comfort is killing us. It's making us sick. So cold water is extremely uncomfortable, but you learn how to use your mind and your breathing to find peace in the face of discomfort. So you can literally get into the water for 2 minutes, sit in there, might be uncomfortable for 20 seconds, and then find peace for the rest of the duration. And that's just mental mind training that people, will, just in a handful of cold dips, you'll be able to mentally build that muscle inside your mind on how to find peace in the face of discomfort.
Okay. And is there anyone that it's not recommended for?
Cold water therapy?
Yeah, cold water.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're pregnant, it's not a good idea to go get into freezing water. Also, people who have like heart conditions, pacemakers, any situation where they have heart issues, they definitely want to consult their doctor first and talk about, hey, I'm interested in doing cold water therapy, and what are your thoughts on me doing any sort of, whether it be cryotherapy or cold water therapy, and have the doctor be involved in their decision.
And
first.
then is there too long of a time to spend in the cold water?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, hypothermia is a real thing. You don't want to see a lot of people. They automatically want to push it. Oh,
right.
How long can I stay? How long can I stay? And there really is no benefits in these lengthy cold dips. It's not necessary. I mean, you get a 2-fold dose of noradrenaline at 42 degrees at 20 seconds. So for 2 minutes at 40 degrees or below is plenty of time to get a really good boost of noradrenaline, a wide variety of other hormones, the vasoconstriction that occurs, which is a great workout for your circulatory system, and also the mental training and nervous system training that you're also experiencing as well. So what we recommend is 2 minutes at anywhere from 35 or 32 to 40 degrees is plenty.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, we're going to have to take another break, so everyone stick around for more Love from the Hip.
Peach fuzz is great if it's on a peach. Let Sakura Skin and Mind remove unsightly hair with dermaplaning. Although its primary purpose is to remove layers of dead skin, it's just one of the added benefits, leaving your skin baby smooth, safe, effective, fast, and affordable. What a concept! Sakura Skin and Mind wants you to look your very best, and dermaplaning is just one tool in their chest. Find out about dermaplaning at sakuraskinandmind.com. SAKURA, skinandmind.com. We bring out the healthy skin and healthy way of thinking you didn't know you had.
Hi, this is Marilyn Milano. If you love animals, then please check out my new show, Love Has Many Faces, Tuesdays from 9 to 9:30 a.m. right here on Alternative Talk 1150. I'll be talking with rescue groups, animal advocates, and other organizations that help animals, sharing their stories and giving our listeners some tangible ways in which they can help make a difference. That's Love Has Many Faces, Tuesdays at 9 a.m. right here on Alternative Talk 1150, raising awareness, touching hearts, and saving animals' lives.
Your skin is your body's largest organ. Care for it properly, starting with your face. Sakura Skin and Mind offers several clinical facial treatments to help stimulate collagen production, eliminate toxins, boost circulation, and deeply cleanse. See a new you in your mirror. Clinical facials range from $90 and up. Do your face a favor. Sakura Skin and Mind, erasing wrinkles, results, one clinical facial at a time. Learn more, sakuraskinandmind.com. SAKURA skinandmind.com.
What's your story? Have you ever sat with that question and looked to your heart for the answer? It's time to explore the real you. Tune in Thursdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. for the brand new show, Story You, with Coach Debbie. Debbie and her guests have a mission to inspire and coach you to find your voice. If you need direction, Story You with Coach Debbie is for you. If you want to be an author, Story You with Coach Debbie is for you. Tune in Thursdays at 4 p.m. and be inspired.
Microneedling is a revolutionary treatment that can help reduce the appearance of acne scars, fine lines, pigmentation, wrinkles, even improve the appearance of stretch marks by stimulating collagen and elastin. Sakura Skin and Mind specializes in this procedure that jumpstarts your body's natural healing process. Sakura Skin and Mind believes in not only keeping the skin up to date with the latest trends in the skincare industry, but also keeping the skin beautiful, fast, pretty, painless, and affordable. Find out more at sakuraskinandmind.com. SAKURA skinandmind.com.
Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Love from the Hip. I'm spiritual hypnotherapist, master esthetician, and your host, Sakura Sutter. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook and subscribe and share my YouTube channel and podcast, Love from the Hip. That's HYP, anywhere you can find podcasts. Today on Love from the Hip, we have Michael Roviello. Michael is a former Navy helicopter rescue swimmer, a Wim Hof instructor, and owner of Optimyze. So, Michael, I want to ask you, what mental disorders have you seen your clients overcome using cold water therapy?
Yeah, so one of the things that's been really effective and the feedback that we've received from both the center and the workshops that I've taught is anxiety and depression. People feel this sense of well-being, especially getting out of the cold and also finding peace within the cold. We have very busy minds. Our minds are busy. They're thinking about 5 steps ahead or planning for something that hasn't even occurred yet, or the mind is in the background thinking about what it should have, could have done yesterday or 10 years ago. So finding that present moment is really where our power is. And you can get to that moment in many different ways. I mean, meditation is a wonderful way, but it could be challenging for many. It was very challenging for me for years. My mind was just too busy. And I think a lot of people in our culture can relate to that. Mm-hmm. But the power of the cold water is it essentially takes a busy mind and makes you immediately present. It's right here, right now. You can't really think about what you need to do later or what you should have done this morning. It's right here, right now. Mm-hmm. And by kind of forcing yourself or guiding you into that present moment, people experience a lot of relief. And they really start to learn to be more of the observer of the mind and not go down the roller coaster of emotions that our brain can take us on. Mm-hmm. So a lot of anxiety and depression. And then, of course, autoimmune. Anybody who's, come to us or have experienced some of the workshops that I've taught personally with autoimmune have felt immediate relief, mainly because their body's in an inflammatory state all the time. And the cold water is assisting them in that anti-inflammatory reaction. So they feel the relief of that. So it's very, very effective for mind and body.
Yeah, that's very powerful. Now, what about weight loss?
Yes, cold water therapy aids in weight loss, mainly because of the metabolism increase and specifically thermogenesis. We talked a little bit earlier about brown fat activation. So, for example, when I first started cold water therapy, I had a visceral fat level, and visceral fat is the inflammatory fat that's on our body that we really don't want. It's problematic and could lead to cardiovascular problems. I had a visceral fat level of, I believe, 13 or 14, and you really couldn't see it. It was on my body, but it wasn't extremely noticeable. We have a body scanner at Optimyze where we can measure visceral fat. And just by doing cold water therapy, I was able to get my visceral fat level down to 4, which is on the low end of the spectrum. And the reason why is because brown fat activates at 64 degrees Fahrenheit, and it uses visceral fat as fuel to warm the body back up.
Wow.
So all of these things, this process aids in weight loss, and you could see kind of a rapid results in a short period of time.
So have you fully healed yourself?
I don't think you're ever fully healed, personally. I think life is just, it's always coming at you, and how you react and adapt to the discomfort of life, whether it be breakups, bad news, death, all kinds of things occur that we have to deal with. I'm a lot less reactionary. I don't have the physical pain, numbness, or a wide variety of the neurological issues that I did. And ultimately, I feel very strong and grounded from using these methods, these natural methods, both hot, cold breathing techniques, different types of movement, meditation, sound healing, and also my journey with plant medicine. So I believe in turning to nature, that nature has the answers. The integrative process is amazing if you want to involve humans in that process to help integrate. But I found that all of the answers are inside of me, and nature has been a great teacher.
That's awesome. So do people also say that cold water therapy helps them to maybe look and feel younger?
Well, there are benefits that show that it's good for your skin, and, obviously in weight loss and different things like that can maybe make you feel younger. But the native people of the Andes Mountains, which is like present day Machu Picchu, they were called the Quieros, and they used to do cold water glacier training or ceremonial, like cold bathing in the glacier water. And they said that it restores the body's vital energy. I think it's something that we want lots of, is vital energy.
Absolutely. So you essentially went full circle. You're still rescuing people in water, but in a whole new and complete way, right?
Yeah, I get this weird thing with water that just keeps showing up. I'm a Pisces. I was born near the water in New York City and Queens. I lived near the water most of my life until the desert. I was in the U.S. Navy doing water search and rescue, and now I'm back to water, putting people in cold water. So
full circle.
Interesting link with me in the water, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I was wondering if you could share the Navy rescue motto.
So others may live.
There you go. And that's exactly what you're doing.
Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you if you could let my listeners know how they can follow you or learn more about Optimyze, and also where Optimyze is located.
Yes, Phoenix, Arizona, 38th Street Indian School. It's in an area called Arcadia. Optimyze is spelled OPTIMYZE. So you could go www.optimyze.me. My personal Instagram, I post a lot on there. I'm pretty active. Is Michael, MICHAEL _the_ arc, ARC, like Michael the Archangel. So I've been pretty active on Instagram. I post information. I have a Facebook page. If you just look up at Michael Roviello, you'll find my business profile, a Facebook page, post news articles, events, workshops. I do individual training, and I recently just got certified in a program called XPT, Extreme Performance Training, out of California. It's Laird Hamilton and Gabby Reese's program. So now I'm an XPT certified coach as well.
Awesome.
Offering a wide variety of training there too.
Great. And then just to reiterate, you said people can take cold showers for cold water therapy.
Yes, everybody has access to cold showers, especially now in the winter. Even in Arizona, we do. Utilize cold showers. There's so much information online about benefits of cold showers. You can just do an easy search.
Yeah.
But essentially, just stand and you start your shower warm. Take a normal warm shower. Finish with cold.
Thanks,
and
Michael.
Just breathe slowly.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for being here. And don't forget, you can find me at lovefromthehip.com or sakuraskinandmind.com. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and find my podcast wherever podcasts are. And if you really love the show or have any questions, you can email me at sakura@lovefromthehip.com. Tune in next Wednesday at 2 p.m. for another Love from the Hip, and make self-love contagious. Go ahead, I dare ya.